It's not David Lynch's Dune that I love, but that's probably a good thing. Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And in this video, I am going to give you my non-spoiler review and thoughts regarding the new Dune movie that released last week on October 21st. Now, I got the chance to see it on HBO Max. I did not go into the theaters as your girl is a diehard fan of the David Lynch version. And I was a little leery about seeing it in the theaters because it was directed, of course, by Denis Villeneuve, who directed the reboot of another one of my favorite movies, which is Blade Runner. I am a die-hard fan of the Ridley Scott version, so I wasn't too interested in seeing his version. However, I did see the Blade Runner reboot. I was pleasantly surprised. So still, I saw it on HBO Max at home. So before I get into my thoughts about the film, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Your girl is trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know I can do it with your help. And when you do hit the subscribe button, please do hit that notification bell so you can be notified, if YouTube does its job right, that your girl has some new hot, fresh content for you to enjoy. All right, with that said, let's get on to the review. So when I review a movie, there are basically three questions that I'm trying to answer. The first is, can you pique my interest? 2, can you hold my interest? And 3, do I feel like watching the film was a total waste of my time? And I can tell you without hesitation that Dune Part 1, because they're calling this Part 1, satisfied all 3 of those. So to get to the idea of what the Dune movie is actually about, in a nutshell, you have 2 rival houses and an emperor at the top overseeing everything, I would say. There's a planet called Arrakis, and Arrakis was under House Harkonnen control, but surprise, surprise, guess what? Now all of a sudden the emperor has decided to give it to House Atreides to govern. Makes you wonder why, after the Harkonnens had had it for so long, why would they give it to the Atreides? Got to watch the movie to find out. And of course, Paul Atreides, son of Duke Leto Atreides and Lady Jessica, a Bene Gesserit. You'll find out what that is in the movie later on. He keeps having this dream about this girl on a desert planet. He doesn't quite know why. And you want to know why after watching the opening scenes. The pacing of the film went very well. It is part 1, so you have to understand the Dune books are like, there's several books, so there isn't just like one single Dune book. So the pacing seems more in line with the novels. It doesn't seem like it's super condensed, which is good. I did like the pace. I didn't feel like I was bored watching this. The scenes with the spice, beautiful. With just how sparkly, it kind of was, and how, you could tell the difficulties with having to harvest it. Oh, of course, and speaking of the spice, we have to talk about Shai Hulud, the worm effect. That was done beautifully. I know I keep saying beautifully, but it was. And some people say that you should probably see this on the large screen. To me, that depends on your interest, in Dune. If you're not really interested in the Dune franchise and you have HBO Max, see it on HBO Max first before you drop the money. I just know myself personally, I will probably go and see it in the theater because of you get that effect of how huge and ominous the sandworm is. You get those subtle details like Baron Harkonnen flying. You get like how immense and dry Arrakis is, and of course with the battle scenes and all of that. I was invested, in the characters very, very quickly, mostly because your girl, I've seen the David Lynch Dune movie. I've also read 3 of the Dune books. Dune, Children of Dune, and Dune Messiah. I basically read those because the movie in '84 was obviously missing a lot. This movie, it goes at a slower pace. It takes more time to come up with the visual elements for you, which is done beautifully. And one of the things really that was done beautifully was the Bene Gesserit voice. Okay, so for those of you who know from the books and know from the David Lynch movie, the Bene Gesserit voice is a powerful weapon. And there's the way that David Lynch did it, which was good. But the way that Denis Villeneuve did it, I love the devices that he used to bring about the power of that voice. Speaking of the Bene Gesserit, the box scene was done differently than Lynch, but still done very, very well. The box scene is something that's extremely pivotal, and I felt Denis Villeneuve captured that very, very well. Going back to, Lady Jessica, one of the things that I found disappointing about this film, and it really doesn't have to do with the Lynch version, but it has to do with what I remember from the books. Yes, my memory probably is a little fuzzy, but from what I remember, Lady Jessica giving Duke Leto Atreides a son seemed to have more to do with love than a different motive, so to speak. So I'll leave that out there so you can find that out during the movie. For those of you who have read the books, you will also see a glimpse of the abomination, and I'll leave it at that. Those of you who read the books, you know exactly what that means. Denis has a talent for a beautifully, beautifully shot film. I will say that he nailed exactly what Caladan should look like. Caladan looked like this beautiful, basically a replica of Earth, so to speak, but kind of with ethereal elements. It's kind of weird, but that's kind of how I'd say that. Um, Giddy Prime, not so much. I didn't really feel it as much like I did with the Lynch version, but it was still a good job. It was still a good job. I just wanted something a bit more gritty, but Baron Harkonnen flew, so that was the important part. The acting in itself, I really didn't have any complaints about the acting. I really did like Timothy Chalamet's acting. I haven't seen him in anything before, but I immediately bought him as Paul Atreides. To me, when I saw his portrayal of Paul Atreides, I was not thinking of Kyle MacLachlan's performance as Paul Atreides in the '84 in David Lynch's Dune. His performance stood on his own, and he handled it perfectly, showing the reluctant, I mean, it is a hero's journey, the reluctant hero, him being out of his element, and things happen where guess what? He's gotta get in that learning curve very, very, very quickly. So the movie paces that evolution extremely well. I'm not too keen on Zendaya's acting, frankly, and I probably should have brought that up earlier. Maybe because I've only seen a little bit of her, glimpses of her. Maybe it'll be better in part 2, I don't know, but from what little I saw, everyone else seems kinda up here, and Zendaya she needs to catch up. Another thing, I'll say one thing that I did not like, if I had to pick something out that, I didn't like. One thing I didn't like and one thing I could pretty much, take or leave. For the take or leave thing, yes, there's some race swapping that went on. it really didn't bother me because it wasn't germane, to the plot. And as for people trying to say that this movie could possibly be woke, which of course I was worried about, it was not. It basically stuck to the books, and I was very grateful for that. Enjoyed what I saw. So the thing that I did not like, what happened to Hans Zimmer's music? Because Hans Zimmer used to have some really, really good, music scores for like movies and television. And this, it just seemed like this monotonous, repetitive music. It just seemed to make it didn't seem to break up the movie. You know how in certain parts of the movie there's certain themes with the score and everything. It didn't feel like that. The score felt like it was, dialed in, and I'm really disappointed with Hans Zimmer because he is one of my favorites with respect to musical scoring. I mean, not John Williams. He was a couple steps down, but he was still consistently good. So I don't know. I don't really know what happened with that. The costuming is on point with this film. If they do not get an Oscar, it's a travesty because they really do need to get one. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this movie an 8.5. The movie, it did not bore me. It was visually stunning. The visuals all had a purpose from the smallest detail. All of it just flowed together, and it was definitely a feast for the eyes, but not only a feast for the eyes, but while you're getting a feast for the eyes, there are little clues that you need to pay attention to there as well. So I like that. It wasn't just here's a dumb visual and pay attention to it. No, it's like here's a visual and there's something else behind that. So I did enjoy that. Again, all the characters fleshed out very, very, very well. Of course, your girl loved seeing Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. I freaking loved his. Stay right there. I loved his appearance. Um, yeah. Oh, and also surprised by Oscar Isaac. I don't think I really remember seeing him in anything really before, but very impressed by his performance. And yeah, he's very easy on the eyes as well. Folks who are not sci-fi fans might find it a little slow, might find it a little bit boring in the beginning. But once things start to pick up with the intrigue and all of that, it's basically like a soap opera in space. I may get in trouble for that, but actually, yeah, it is. That's kind of how it is to me. All right. So with that said, that's going to do it for this spoiler-free review of Dune. Please do let me know in the comments what you thought about the film. Did you, thoroughly enjoy the film? Was it everything that you expected it to be? Do you like the fact that this is only part one, or do you feel they should have done it all in one movie? And did you see it on HBO Max, or did you see it in the theater, or did you see it in a huge IMAX format? And if you did not like the movie, I'd like to know what it is that you didn't like about it. I would love to hear your opinions. Okay, so with that said, this is going to wrap it up for this video. If you liked it and got some value out of it, please do hit that thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. And also, if you could give your girl a subscribe, I would appreciate that as well. All right. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.